Hello everyone, welcome back to the latest update series of Drishti IAS. This is Divya Kavatra. We meet again to discuss Teesta project that has been in news recently because of Bangladesh delegates visiting China. That's right, they visited China and somehow Teesta project is getting rejuvenated and a lot of development is happening in that area. And why are we studying that? Like Bangladesh and China. We are studying that because it is raising security concerns on India as well. How? Let's find out. So Teesta River project that recently came into news because China once again threw its weight behind Bangladesh's ambitious Teesta River Comprehensive Management and Restoration Project. This is the entire project for Teesta. There's management, there's reservation, there's restoration, everything, right? So there is a renewed momentum here because Bangladesh had a visit. Bangladesh Prime Minister Tariq Rahman paid a visit to Beijing from June 22 to 26, where he met a lot of Chinese delegates along with President Xi Jinping. And during the visit, they've agreed to accelerate work on technical feasibility so that they can see whether Teesta River restoration project can be done or not. And if it can, then China will support Bangladesh in doing that. All right. This has been decided. So right now, they're only looking around for options. The project has not started yet. They're only looking around for options as to how they can do this and what is the feasibility of it. That's it. Once they find that, then China will aid Bangladesh in completing that. But for now, India is raising concern. Why are we doing that? Just understand. This whole project, the Teesta River that originates in the eastern Himalayas in the Sikkim, it goes through West Bengal, then flows into Bangladesh, where it merges with our Brahmaputra River. Okay, this is the major flow. We'll talk about the rest of the flow, don't worry. So now in the eastern, coming from the eastern Himalayas, going from the West Bengal, going to Bangladesh, for millions of people in northern Bangladesh, it is critical lifeline, but it has some challenges. What is the problem? There is terrible flooding during the summer, and that's why we need a project there so that we can build a dam and we can prevent the flooding from happening, right? That is our requirement. But other than that, the terrible flooding during this is followed by extreme drought and water scarcity during dry season because it is not perennial and it is a seasonal river. All right, it is a seasonal river. If while there is flooding, we have a dam, what they're proposing is the river floods out in one season. At that point, if we have a dam, we can store that water. Later on, when there are drought-like conditions, when the seasonal dry up of the river comes, we release the water. That way, we will have year-round water and will improve the life of people living there, right? That is their demand. That is what they're trying to do, which is quite feasible, right? Anybody would want that. Good enough. So now the solution is that multi-billion-dollar mega engineering project inside Bangladesh will be run. Under that, they will deepen the riverbed. How will they deepen the riverbed? They will build reservoir, construct embankments and modernize the irrigation network. Another proposed solution is that earlier they were thinking, let's have a dam, let's store the water and release it. Now they're saying instead of building a dam, what we will do, we'll give the river the natural flow. How so? See, this is the riverbed. Let's suppose this is the bank and this is the riverbed. And here is where the river flows. Now what they're saying is that let's widen this. Let's widen this riverbed. Through that, this particular riverbed will be able to hold more water. If it is able to hold more water, there will be no flooding. And if there will be no flooding, river will keep flowing. And in the drought region also, in the drought times also, there will be spare water at the bottom of this, right? So instead of storing it into the dams and then releasing it, what we are doing is we are enlarging the riverbed, and which is much more costly, but a more sustainable option for Bangladesh, right? So this is the proposed option. But India and Bangladesh have been unable to finalize formal water sharing treaty over a decade now. So it is a problem for us as well because we have not finalized how to use the water. And if we don't have a treaty and already they're starting construction over it, that is anyway going to impact us, is it not? So we should also be a party of it. But we're not being made a party of it because Bangladesh and China are doing it alone, right? So now, because of the domestic political opposition also, and Dhaka has turned to Beijing for technical and financial backing so that they can handle the river on their own. And at least in their own region, they can handle it and make sure that they utilize the water properly. Let's understand the core threat, why it is forming an anxiety for India, because it is not economic strictly. It is military and geographic. Why military and geographic? Just look at the map. The Bangladesh. Coming from West Bengal, we have the Teesta River, and this crossing includes our very crucial Siliguri Corridor. And as we know, China has eyes on our Siliguri Corridor for a very long time. Yes, and because they want a control over it, so they have entire route chain to the northeast, to complete northeast. They have been targeting our Siliguri Corridor for a very long time now, and it is not something that is a new concept or is a hidden aim or hidden agenda. No, it is very open agenda of China that they want control over the Siliguri Corridor, for the trade also, for the connectivity also, for the northeastern region also, for compromising our security also. For all those reasons, they need control over our Siliguri Corridor. Now, their presence in Bangladesh, their extensive presence in Bangladesh, especially for a very long time in a particular project, is going to give them a lot of access. And this access might not be good for India's security, right? So this is not just about water. This is not just about economic benefit sharing. It is completely about our security. And when security is concerned, no project is small, right? And when our security is concerned, no concern or no question is also small, right? So now the Siliguri Corridor, which is this narrow strip, 20 to 22 kilometers, right? It's the tightest point that connects main body of India to 8 northeastern, 7 sisters, and all the 8 states, right? So this corridor is what? That Chicken Egg Corridor, Siliguri Corridor, that connects us. And this connectivity is very important for us. Now, China wants access to this connectivity. So, number one, they can improve their conditions. And if not, then they can spoil our relations, right? That's what they're trying to do, right? Why Chinese presence is worrying India now, not just because of Bangladesh's project, but because of our own concerns as well, because there is geographical vulnerability. If hostile foreign power, China is hostile towards India, we know that. If hostile foreign power is just getting located at our neighborhood, we should be worried, right? One neighborhood they already have, they're coming to another neighborhood also, and on the other neighborhood, they have Pakistan as their constant supporter. So all the processes coming together give us a blanket China, right? Give us a blanket China, and that is obviously not good for our security in any manner whatsoever, right? So there is geographical vulnerability also. So they are blocking this tiny corridor. There will be the entire northeastern region of India would be cut off from the rest of the country. So we won't be able to send any military reinforcements, fuel, supplies, nothing. If they cut down this corridor, we won't be able to provide them with anything, obviously without the support of Bangladesh, right? And if Bangladesh is joining hands with China, then obviously Bangladesh won't allow us to do that. Then there is a strategic answer, because China has already maintained a heavy military presence there. Now, due to this project, in Tibet's Chumbi Valley also, we have been having standoffs in 2017. Continuous relations have been deteriorating. Indian defense planners are also fearing that their state-owned enterprises, engineers, personnel, etc., they will have a lot of control here. And to build this corridor for Bangladesh, they will be getting a lot of information about India and its security borders as well, which is not good for us, right? And then intelligence and surveillance. There are intense concerns that large-scale engineering work would obviously cover Chinese intelligence operations, right? And while they are doing that, like we did in nuclear testing, right? In terms of nuclear testing, we covered that with military exercises and whatnot. This can also be a cover for China while they're doing a surveillance of our borders, right? So this can be used. They can map the terrain, monitor the sensitive Indian military movements, and understand the entire play of the ground. And that way it will be very easy for them to prepare their own strategy. Yes, it will be like know thy enemy, right? It is said that know thy enemy. Why? Because if you know your enemy, you know where to attack. And that is what China might be doing, right? So that's why India has raised concerns. And obviously we have concerns. Always we have geopolitical standoffs also. The India option in 2024, India attempted to diffuse the situation. They said that will offer technical and conservation assistance to build Teesta Basin project, right? We tried to box China out, but it didn't work. The pivot to China. the recent leadership changes in Dhaka, and obviously the India-Bangladesh relations are always going south. Anti-Indian sentiments are growing, and the new government is prioritizing independent policy for their self-interest and going to China without considering India. Right? They're saying that this is about our livelihood, and we are not targeting any third party. It is about our livelihood, and we are working for that. Right? So while Bangladesh is seeing it as an urgent solution to agricultural and environmental problems, India looks at it as a security threat with China. Clear? Exactly. Let's understand for a minute, after all this, why is Teesta so important? Do you understand the problem first of all? Do you understand why we are facing this, and why we feel like it is problematic, and why India feels like we need to be worried about it? We've discussed all that. But why Teesta is so important? Why are we trying to do that? Okay, let's understand. If we talk about it, the origin point of it, where does it lie? Solamo Lake, like Chalamu Lake or Solamo Lake, and Teesta Khangse Glacier. Teesta Khangse Glacier in the northern Sikkim, and the total length 414 kilometers in total. In Sikkim 151, West Bengal 142, Bangladesh 121. So in India the flow is quite good. It is not that we have a lesser flow. No, we have quite a good flow. Then the catchment area, if we talk about 12,159 square kilometers, the entire drainage basin in India 83%, mostly in Sikkim and Northwest Bengal. India holds 83% of it, while Bangladesh only has 17% of it, and still they want to make so many changes in the 17%. And because of this share, India and Bangladesh need a treaty to utilize these waters, right? And that treaty, they've not been able to come to an agreement for a decade now, right? So if they've not been able to do that, obviously water sharing will be a problem, and that will create more problems for us. If we talk about the source or origin, Solamo Lake, we have seen that the primary tributary, Rangit River. Okay, the primary tributary is Rangit River. It is the right bank tributary, largest tributary, and its confluence with Teesta occurs at Meli, Sikkim, West Bengal border. Right? Why is it famous? For its distinct color contrast. I asked you a question in the previous session where I asked you to tell me the names of the two rivers that merge. One of them is very clean, one of them is very dirty, and they don't merge, right? This is the example, the color contrast that we can see here. And the other tributaries, right bank, Kanak, Rekpi, Gelkhola, and left bank tributaries, Lachengchu, Chakangchu, Dikshu, Ranikola. These are the tributaries. What is the terrain transition? It has deep mountain gorges in the Sikkim Himalayas, flows past Kalimpong and Siliguri as well, enters into the plains of West Bengal at Sivok before crossing into Bangladesh. What are the confluences? Merges with Brahmaputra River, locally known as the Jamna River in Bangladesh, as they call Brahmaputra, right? And this is the pathway to our river. All right. These are some important facts about Teesta River, and we see the project also, why it is so important, why there are rising concerns, and why India needs to be very, very, very aware as to what is happening, because it is not just the river project, it is the presence of China's surveillance, and presence of China's security, and that is what is targeting India, right? So we have to be very careful about it, and we need to see how we can try to avoid a conflict here and at the same time maintain our security, right? Exactly. All right, so based on this, I hope you've understood the issue. I hope you've understood the topic. Based on this, we have a question for you. Just try to attempt this question and give us your answer in the comment section. All right. All right, let us know your answer. That's about it. That's about our Teesta project, not our project, Bangladesh project, our concern, right, regarding that project and their China-Bangladesh nexus that has been created. And it is worrying because the government is going to stay for a long time, and that is not pro-India. So let's see how it goes. And that's all for today. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.